How are you? Okay, but now I would like you to take a moment. You don't have to shout it out, but think about how you would answer that question if you were being honest. I am very nervous, as you can probably tell. I'm also tired. I have 3 kids and they make me exhausted. But I am also really excited to be here. So even though I'm tired and nervous, we have a job to do. So let's do it. We are going to talk about college students and mental health, but with a twist, because we're also going to talk about faculty mental health and the systems that we exist in together. But to do that, I need to talk about some heavy stuff. So I'm going to bring us into some discomfort, but I promise not to keep us there the whole time. I'm disabled. I have complex PTSD stemming from childhood trauma. I have a late-in-life diagnosis of ADHD. This year, I spent 2 months in an intensive outpatient mental health program. And actually, last week, I literally just got another mental health diagnosis. And I love my brain. Like, I mean it. I really, really love my brain. It has carried me through what some might consider to be actual living nightmares, and it works overtime to try and keep me safe. And I'm so, so thankful for it. Sometimes, though, she can get a little carried away, and I do need a lot of support to meet the expectations of daily life. When I was in college, I had the same brain, but I didn't know why it worked the way that it did. I thought it was broken. And when you think that your brain is broken, like that organ that makes you you, when you think that's broken, that's terrifying. That's really scary, and it's super confusing. And so I hid it. I told nobody. But because I hid it, I was really lonely, and I had no support. But I went to a top-tier teaching university, so I had no choice but to put on a perfect performance. And on a campus of tens of thousands of people, no one knew. No one knew that I was drinking until I couldn't remember. No one knew that I was fighting with everybody who'd show me kindness or love. Not one adult on that campus knew me as anything other than the perfect student in one of their classes. And I tell you this story about me because that was over 10 years ago. And things haven't really changed. In the 2022-2023 academic year, the Center for Collegiate Mental Health looked at the college experiences of students that had access to the College Counseling Center. And they found alarming rates of childhood trauma. 54% of students had experienced emotional abuse, 20% physical abuse, 15% sexual abuse. And in that same academic year, the Healthy Minds study looked at the college population as a whole. And they found that that year, 30% of students had engaged in self-harm. And 14% had considered death by suicide. 14%. That number should feel like a lot, because it is. If you had a class of 35 students, that's almost 5. So the students are not okay. Having a brain that deviates from what people consider normal, especially in academia, feels bad. It feels bad for students, and it feels bad for faculty who, when we look at the research, hold similar levels of depression, anxiety, and distress as our students. The faculty are not okay. So if students are not okay, and faculty are not okay, why are we not capitalizing on this potential for shared connection, on this opportunity? It's because it's not the norm. In fact, it's risky. It's risky because of the systems that we exist in. It's risky because of the social norms that were created for us by somebody else. It's risky because as a society, We believe there is something fundamentally wrong with a brain that differs from the norm. Disability and mental health disabilities are not part of the professional identity. There is no reward, and there is no incentive from the institutions to share these really vulnerable parts of ourselves, especially with our students. The systems are set up so that faculty and students, we don't support each other. It's the systems that are not okay. But I promised you that we wouldn't sit in the discomfort the whole time. And I don't want to be sitting in it either, so we're going to come out now. Are you ready? Okay. Me too. All right. The beautiful news is that we can do something about it. We can stop thinking about ourselves as the problem. We can shift away from this idea that we are broken, that our students' brains are broken. What if we acknowledged that the systems are broken? That we live in a society that says there is one right way to be? What if we all collectively said, no? What if, as faculty, we shared parts of ourselves with our students that push against the narrative that mental health disabilities are inherently bad and have no place in academia? What if we asked each other for support? We need each other. And the beauty is that the research shows us that we can do that. We can use each other for support. When students have supportive faculty, and when they feel like they belong, their mental health is better, they have better coping strategies, and they're more engaged in their academic work. And we know that when faculty disclose a mental health disability to people on campus, guess what group shows up the most positively? I heard it. It's the students. It's the students. And I know that when I come to my classroom and I am open and honest about who I am and how I am, my students and I, we show up for each other. We support each other in natural ways. And not only does it benefit me, it sets the stage for them that in our classroom, no one is expected to show up day in and day out at 100% capacity, that those social norms that were created for us by academic culture, those norms do not need to be met in my classroom. Now, if you ask one of my students, they will tell you that I hold very high expectations for them. But they will also tell you that I am a soft place to land. When we checked in at the beginning of the talk, it didn't take anything away from what we did tonight, but it did give you a moment to center, to check in with yourself, to acknowledge how you really are. And if we were in a classroom, it would have been a moment of shared connection, of authentic support. All before we got down to whatever the syllabus said we had to do that day. Now, my colleagues, I know what I am asking of you is hard and scary because I've done it. But because I've done it, I know how transformative it can be for us and for students. I had a student once tell me that I was the first professor that they had ever felt safe with. And that's the goal. Not to be therapists, not to be psychiatrists, but to create spaces where faculty and students can connect, can support one another, and can push back on the systems that are designed to keep us separate. Thank you.